Yes, officer?
Clocked you at 40 miles an hour back there. Do you know what the speed limit is, here?
Well, according to that sign right there, it's 40 miles an hour.
Step out of the car, please, sir.
Wait a second. Aren't you Stan's little friend?
Sir, step out of the car, please.
Yeah, you're the one who always plugs up the toilet at our house.
I am a cop, and you will respect my authority!
Yeah, right. You better get back to school, little boy.
Ow! Get your ass to jail!
Ow! Hey, what the hell are you doing? You can't do that! Ow! 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 Ow!
Sweet.
Ow!
Are you a law-abiding citizen? I'm sure you think you are. But what if I told you I don't even believe that you should be? Now hold up. Before you protest, give me a second to explain. This is not to say that I would have anyone deliberately go out of their way to break the law. I'm not advocating you suddenly organise a crime syndicate or start selling black market weapons. All I'm asking is, while you probably think of yourself as a law-abiding citizen, do you really follow the letter of the law right now? Not only do you probably engage in harmless, unlawful activity occasionally without even realizing it, but I'd posit that the average person wouldn't even be aware of the majority of laws that supposedly apply to them. Do you keep track of every bill that passes through your parliament or Congress? Have you read the reams of legislation and legal precedent that governs the laws you're expected to follow? Even the finest lawyers in the world have to research case law in preparation for a trial. I bet you've never walked down a public street with no visible means of support or stayed in a public area too long without a purpose. Well, you dirty, loitering vagrant you. Truth is, it's completely impractical to follow every single law the state applies to us. To most of us, the legal system is a complex mess of inaccessible language and contradictory logic. And more recently, with the onset of the constantly changing pandemic measures, who can even keep up? Because of this, most of us don't directly follow the law. What we do instead, whether consciously or not, is abide by an unspoken but well-known principle called the social contract. Instead of following a complex enumeration of rules and regulations, we engage our common sense and apply a set of simpler blanket policies. And we decide what that is collectively, but also as individuals. For the most part, this works to keep us clear of the long arm of the law. I mean, if murder was made legal tomorrow, it's not like you'd suddenly hit the streets with an AK-47 and start spraying the crowd with bullets, would you? Or at least, I'd hope not. As a species evolving toward increased productivity and efficiency, we've adopted a social system of increasing professional specialization. We all learn our individual fields of expertise really well, but we don't expect a neurosurgeon to whip us up a crop of bok choy. As such, few of us have the skills and knowledge required to live our lives without support. We rely on each other for most of our needs, wants, and desires, even ignoring the social interaction and validation we require to remain psychologically healthy. We all follow the invisible social contract because to fail in that, we'd be socially ostracized by those we depend on. But this interdependency also gives us a tendency to look outside ourselves for solutions, and that makes it a double-edged sword. When we try to bake a lemon cake and it turns out tasting more like kiwi, the stakes aren't particularly high. But when deciding to take up arms and invade a foreign country, you need a lot of faith in the institutions asking you to do so. Whether you have that faith or not is an individual choice. But if you find the request in conflict with your internal rule of thumb, don't kill people, you wouldn't be alone. And while it's undoubtedly a noble thing to risk your life for a just cause, it's also true that order followers have been instrumental in some of the most horrific events in human history. Unjust wars, mass genocides, and wacky-themed work parties simply cannot occur without them. Of course, it's human nature to respect those who present as an authority. But in a time where the illusion of authority can be created by sporting an expensive suit, wearing a recognized uniform, or speaking into a microphone, is it still reasonable to extend that same respect to people exhibiting similar qualities? An authority that was trustworthy a year ago isn't guaranteed to remain trustworthy today. Governments change, priorities shift, and law is constantly evolving. So the next time you decide to follow an order given to you by an authority, consider the source. You owe it to your fellow humans to remain vigilant. And in fact, you might even say it's the very cornerstone of our shared social contract.